So it was all a test. It was just a test, right? Ladies and gentlemen, how many times has a report come out that the government has detonated some type of huge explosion just for testing? Do you remember way back there being a report of the government detonating an explosion on the surface of the moon? Do you remember that? So let me clear this up. In the late 50s, the government did come up with a plan to nuke the moon. It was called Project A119. They had lead scientists working on the project. They were moving forward with it, especially after the Russian Sputnik launch. However, they ended up scrapping the project. Instead, they went with the plan of putting a man on the moon. Now fast forward to 2009. Instead of using a nuke, they crashed space junk onto the surface of the moon to study the impact and for water. Now the question that a few people may have had on their minds was, what were they trying to crash that stuff into? Now, of course, test explosions are not unusual at all, but sometimes a test can be so significant it seems to be more than just a test. Which brings me to 2021. We've had another event, a pretty big event in the form of a 40,000 pound bomb detonated off the coast of Florida. The military says it was just a test. I know some of you can't help to wonder if that was the truth. Well, wait till you hear this. Massive explosions set off by U.S. Navy may have injured or killed marine life. The blast was so large it registered a 3.9 earthquake in Daytona Beach. The U.S. Navy detonated a 40,000 pound bomb on June 18th that may have injured or even killed marine life in the area. The explosion was part of the Navy's full ship shock trials, a test the Navy uses to determine how durable its ships are against attacks by explosives. The Navy's own modeling indicates that some smaller species of marine mammals would be expected to die within 1 to 2 kilometers of the blast, said the director of the Natural Resources Defense Council's Marine Mammal Protection Project. So the first thing we want to look at is the location of this event. The East Coast, or Atlantic Coast, Florida, about 100 miles out from Palm Coast, Daytona Beach. Keep in mind that the Bermuda Triangle is not too far away as well. We'll get to that in a moment. By the way, did you know that the latest missing vessel in the Bermuda Triangle was just last year? A 29-foot boat with 20 people gone. You mean to tell me that they couldn't find a 29-foot boat in that little section of the Bermuda Triangle between the Bahamas and Florida? So yeah, things still to this day happen in those waters. You know what's interesting about that story? And this is weird because I just can't find enough details about this, but back in June of this year, a boat was discovered drifting in the Turk and Caicos Islands with the remains of 20 people on board. Let's just put it this way. With the deep water trenches of the Bermuda Triangle, anything could be living down there. Sea monsters, aliens, mermaids, Cthulhu, who knows? I will be discussing the Bermuda Triangle specifically in another video. Right now, I just want to set the stage for what I'm about to say next. Now, there is a TikTok user who is a fisherman. He goes out to sea and documents his time out there and anything he comes across. Now, he is known for his videos of strange sounds he claims are coming from the ocean, sounds that are propagated to be the sounds or screams of sirens or mermaids. A series of events took place here. After that 40,000-pound bomb was dropped, there was a post put out about this fisherman who had recorded the screams of sirens and mermaids, perhaps dying from the explosion. After his videos started going viral, he claims that his boat was randomly chosen for a government survey by UNOLS, the University of National Oceanographic Laboratory System. Soon after, he gets involved in a near-fatal car accident, to which some people spread the rumor that he died. But he is apparently very much still alive. The reason I bring this up is because people have linked the test bombing of the ocean in Florida to what has happened to this TikTok user, who is in New Bedford, Massachusetts, by the way, which is not Florida. So if you see that post anywhere, just understand that. Now, this happens on the internet at times. You have two stories that get mixed together to form some type of conspiracy theory. So why would someone put out a story that suggests the Navy is out in the ocean blowing up mermaids? That explosion they set off caused a 3.9 earthquake. I don't think that is something to just brush off. I don't think it is something the residents of Florida should just brush off. I mean, what the heck? We need to test to see how strong our aircraft carriers are, just in case we get into World War III. Some things on that craft did break. Nothing major. But who is authorizing this spending? I mean, I'm by no means an expert in naval defense, but does this seem necessary in today's age of warfare? Didn't they come to a very good understanding of explosives by World War II? I'm just being facetious here. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they did blow up some monster in the ocean before it got to the coast. Could have been Godzilla. See, we didn't need the mix of the TikTok user's story and the Navy's story to build this narrative. Each story on its own is interesting. Now, this is the Navy, and I'm pretty sure they understand how shockwave and earthquakes work. So, if you know that a bomb you drop could cause an earthquake off the coast of a populated area, you would probably consider experimenting in another location. Why would you risk the possibility of damages for a test run? And by the way, what type of marine life did die in that experiment? Because they don't make it clear. They say only protected species were not in the area. Well, what is not a protected species? Oh, as long as there are no dolphins or whales in the area, bombs away. Hey, fish lives matter too. And apparently mermaids' lives do as well. How many of you believe in a secret war? You know, like some people believe there is a secret battle going on in space against aliens. Operation High Jump is another example of just weird military exercises. It's kind of like the nuclear bomb testing that occurred all over the world. All that testing, thousands of detonations for something that a variation of it was used in Japan at the end of World War II. You don't see anyone using these weapon systems. They just test them. Yeah, they just have to test. Just in case. A 40,000-pound bomb, I mean, can't you drop a smaller bomb and just do the math? No, we have to blow things up for real, big time. Then we'll do the math based on that. See, the Navy does these full ship shock trials every year. Thousands of tests every year. This one happened to be much larger than their normal test. in waters that are usually full of dolphins and whales at this time of year. There's no solid information about what marine animals were killed or impacted by this explosion. And there doesn't seem to be any investigation into this, so yes, this test does seem a bit odd. If this event was anything other than a shockwave trial, then we probably won't learn of that truth. But this is the topic of discussion. What if the government has been fighting a secret war? Like I've said, you may have heard of a secret space war. You may have even heard of a secret war going on underground. So, if there is any truth to any of that, would this secret war extend to our oceans? Because we, the people, really don't know what's lurking outside the atmosphere. We don't really know what's lurking underground, and we most definitely do not know what's lurking in those deep waters. I recently showed a presentation on the subject of Gog and Magog, something about a race of beings that have been separated from the rest of the world only to one day be released upon us all. Not some demonic horde, but a race of living, breathing, fleshly beings, slowly working their way to the surface. People are still waiting on that alien invasion, right? You see, people know they can feel something of the sort arriving. I think back in the day, people used to think something like that would come in the form of flying saucers from outer space. But I think people these days understand that an invasion, fake or not, could come from the air, underground, or from the sea. You see, from what I understand, I don't believe the government or shadow government is ever going to get a chance to fake an invasion. They may, but I am leaning more toward a real invasion of natural disasters. I think they have been secretly trying to mitigate some of the earth changes that would have probably been very bad for us if they didn't do their side work on those things such as genetically modifying crops to withstand environmental changes, while we go on thinking everything is normal. Also, I think we may have to deal with some emergence of strange creatures, both large and small. We've already seen some new species of insects and bugs pop up in certain areas. We've seen new aquatic species pop up in certain areas. So only time will tell if there will be anything from nature that we will have to fight off. As of right now, it looks as if the most threatening thing to us are other people. With that said, if the Navy really did drop this sizable bomb only to test the durability of a battleship or their carrier, I think some people may find that a bit concerning. What war or battle are they gearing up for? There is more to come and more frequent uploads on the way. I've been working through some changes, reorganizing, destroying old negative habits and building new positive ones. So I am excited about the future, and I want you all to be excited for your future. Take care and God bless. Be sure to visit woodwardentertainment.com and the Woodward Entertainment store. And until next time, friends, stay awake, stay aware, stay safe, and I'll talk to you all soon.